this video, we're going to do a crash course on RC electronics so that you can set them up and use them in your own projects. You'll have seen me use this stuff in almost all of the projects on the main channel. Controlling RC rocket planes, RC speedboats, jet-powered RC cars, and giant RC cargo planes. With these reusable tools, you can control almost anything and bring your ideas to life. You just need to know how to use them. But all of this stuff looks really confusing, and it's not completely clear what goes with what and how to plug everything together. And this is really the biggest hurdle that people face when getting into RC engineering. So by the end of this video, you're going to see how to set all of this up and then how to stick it all inside a foam aeroplane and make it work. Right, firstly, let's start with the battery, and almost every RC system has a battery, and this is an extremely common size. You can think of a battery like a fuel tank for your RC system, and there are two main things you need to know about batteries. The first one is the capacity, and the second one is the voltage. So the capacity is like how big the fuel tank is, how much fuel it can take, and the voltage is like how powerful the fuel is in terms of its explosiveness or whatever. Now this lithium polymer battery has a capacity of 2200 milliamp hours, and that's the same as 2.2 amp hours. This means that if you put a 2.2 amp draw on this battery, it would last for an hour. So if you put a 4.4 amp draw on this battery, it would last for half an hour, and so on. Now, talking about voltage, this battery is a 3-cell battery, which means it has a nominal voltage of 11.1 volts. If you use a bigger battery with more voltage, then you might risk burning out certain RC components. So you have to be careful with sizing the correct battery for the correct electronics. Right, so the next part of our system is the electric motor, and this is very important for making your model aeroplane or whatever it is that you want to power move along. This is a brushless motor, which is one of the most common types to find on an RC aeroplane because it's very efficient. The brushless motor has 3 wires that come out of it, and these are plugged into the speed controller in any order, just like this. It doesn't actually matter which way round these go. The reason that we have a speed controller attached to the motor is to tell the motor how fast to turn. It takes power from the battery, which is plugged in here, and channels most of it into the motor, phasing the power to activate the electromagnets and pull the motor around in the correct speed that it's told by the signal wire over here. Next, let's talk about servo motors, and these are really cool because they allow you to control things like control surfaces on your model aeroplane or steering on your RC car. And these are basically small geared motors with control boards on them which only move a certain amount. So an arm attached to the top of the servo motor can move about 180 degrees backwards and forwards, and when combined with a linkage or control arm, this can move another function of your vehicle backwards and forwards. But to control the servos on your RC vehicle and to control the brushless motor as well, you're going to need a radio transmitter and a radio receiver. Now this is the actual RC bit of the whole system. This is how you control everything, by having the controller or transmitter transmit signals to the receiver. The receiver has multiple channels that you can plug different things into. So each of these channels controls a different output. So we have channel 1 on here, which is the throttle channel, and that is connected to the throttle control stick here on the transmitter. We have channel 2, which is the aileron channel, which is controlled by this stick over here, moving backwards and forwards, left to right. And channel 3 is the elevator channel, and that is controlled by this stick going up and down like this. There are 6 channels on this receiver, so it can control 6 different functions. Now with an advanced controller like this one that has a screen and an interface, you can actually go into the menus and select which outputs you want to assign to each channel. So you don't have to have the throttle channel on this stick, you could have it on this one, or you could control a servo with the throttle stick over here. It's kind of up to you. And this means that you can really completely customize your system, but that's more advanced, so we're not going to get into that right now. Okay, now that you know all about the individual parts of the RC system, I can show you how to connect them all together. So we're going to start with the electric motor, and as mentioned before, this gets connected to the electronic speed controller with these 3 wires. Sometimes you have to solder these wires together, but bullet connectors makes everything a lot easier. Now you can put these together in any order. It doesn't matter which one goes into which. Now we have the powertrain set up, we can plug it into the receiver, which is going to tell the speed controller how fast we want the motor to spin. Now this is done by using this connector, which is attached to this cable over here, and that goes into channel 1. The positive and negative wires go towards the bottom. Now you can put this the other way around and it's not going to damage anything, it just won't work. And that's because the signal wire needs to be at the top, where the signal is sent from one of these pins on the receiver all the way through to the speed controller. This is going to be a pulse, and that's going to tell this controller in here to spin the motor at the correct rate by phasing the power to the motor. And that's going to sort of turn off and on the electromagnets inside here. And by changing the signal and therefore changing the pulses to the motor, it will get it to speed up or slow down. It's very important, by the way, at this stage not to put a propeller on the motor, because propellers are dangerous, and if you accidentally spin it up, it can damage things and yourself very easily. Next, we can plug in our servos to the other channels on the receiver. So we're going to do that by, again, putting the signal wire at the top here next to these numbers so that this is the correct way round. And that one there is going to be controlled by our aileron channel. And then I have another one over here, which is going to control the elevator. Oops, just realised that control arm isn't the right one, so I'm just swapping it over. You can attach different arms to these servo motors for different geometry on your control linkages, or whatever you want to control on them. I'm going to connect this next servo into channel number 3, which is the elevator channel, and now I basically have a complete system that I can control with the controller. All I need to do is to plug in the flight battery, and that will power everything. Right, so I'm first going to turn the controller on. Okay, so the transmitter or controller is on, and now I can power the completed system with the battery. So we've got our battery there, that's plugged in, we've got our motor, we've got our receiver, and we've got our 2 servos over here. Now this is all powered, but it's not actually connected to the transmitter, and that's because we haven't bound the receiver to the transmitter, which means that they're not actually talking yet. Now to make these 2 parts work together, you're going to have probably the same brand of receiver and radio, and that's so that they can speak the same language. So to introduce them to one another, what I need to do is to enter this into binding mode, which I'm going to do by just pressing that button on the top of the receiver, and then going into the bind menu on here. Some controllers actually have a bind button on the top if they don't have a screen, and that means that you can just turn the transmitter on and bind it by holding that button at the same time. But this one's a bit more advanced. Right, this is flashing, that means it's ready to bind.
Binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds. Telemetry.
And we're connected.
Bind complete.
So let's test the servos. Yep, they both work. You can see this one working backwards and forwards like that as I use the aileron channel to activate it. And now we can test our brushless motor to see if that's working with the throttle channel. Yep, that works. Now, powering this down, if the motor is spinning the wrong direction, all you need to do is to swap 2 of these bullet connectors around, and this means that the phase of the motor will be different and it should turn the other way. Yep, so that's going the other way. Okay, now for the exciting part. We've got our RC electronics working, and now we can fit them inside an aeroplane to make it fly. Now this, on its own, without any electronics, is called an airframe, and that's sort of like a chassis of a car without the engine or anything else in it to make it work. What we'll do is we'll fit the motor to the front and then plumb everything else into the back of the aeroplane, and yeah, then we'll have a working RC plane. So first of all, I'm going to take all of the connectors apart so that we can actually get everything through and into the right places inside the airframe. And now I can install the electric motor onto the motor mount, which is the plywood part on the inside of this aeroplane's nose. So just pop that through like that. Okay, that's the motor, just attached to there. And now we're going to install the electronic speed controller, and that's going to go through this hole on the bottom of the nose. And we can just attach these back together again. And on this aeroplane, I didn't actually need to detach the bullet connectors, but I did anyway, so there we go, put those back together. This goes in here with the battery lead sticking out the bottom, because the battery is going to go on the underside of the plane, just like this. So now I can pull this through and plug it back into channel 1, which is our throttle channel, making sure to get the lead the right way up. Next, I can plug the servos in to channels 2 and 3. Now, I've actually already got 2 new servos that are glued into this airframe, so I'll just plug those into channels 2 and 3 instead, in the correct order. So we've got our motor and electronic speed controller plugged into channel 1, and we've got our rudder and our elevator plugged into channels 2 and 3. The aileron channel, left and right on the controller, is controlling the rudder on this aeroplane, because this aeroplane doesn't have ailerons. It just has a rudder to go left and right. So yeah, this is a very simple RC plane that's easy to fly. Now I'm just going to stick the receiver down to the bottom of the floor of the aeroplane so that it doesn't move. Right, now I just need to put the wing of the aeroplane back on, which is just held on with these rubber bands. And if you're wondering about this RC plane, by the way, it's available on projectair.co.uk, so check out the link in the description. I've designed it to be a beginner's aeroplane that can teach you to fly really easily. Right, the battery is installed on the underside of the RC plane, and now finally I can put the propeller on. You should only do this when you're ready to fly, because propellers are dangerous. Right, let's see if this all works. Okay, let's check the controls. So we've got throttle. Yep, that works. We've got up and down on the elevator, and we've got left and right on the rudder. So this aeroplane's pretty much ready to fly. Right, now you might wonder where you're going to get all of these electronics from, and to make it easier for you, I've linked loads of things in the description, and yeah, there's lots of beginner-friendly electronics down there to get you into RC engineering and the RC hobby in general. There's loads of stuff on projectair.co.uk, which is linked in the description as well, for helping you to build your own projects. There are going to be things like this aeroplane down there, so make sure to check it out, and this might be a really good way into building your own projects too. With that, thanks very much for watching. Check out another video over here and subscribe to the Projectair channel and this second channel down here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.